Hello friends, welcome to my channel, and in this video I am just going to show you some interesting features of this new 2021 model of the 43-inch View 4K Smart LED TV. So to demonstrate it, I will be using some more gadgets. I'll use a wireless keyboard mouse combo. I'll be demonstrating the remote to you of this TV, and I also have a Raspberry Pi with me to show you few features, and a Philips soundbar as such. So just keep in mind that when you do a search on Amazon or Flipkart or maybe on the internet, you will find that many people have mentioned that this model is similar to the HiSense 4K TV. Yes, that's absolutely true, I think, because feature wise it's all the same. It's just some minor differences that we have on the remote with couple of buttons, so I can say it's more of cosmetic changes. So this video is not an unboxing video, not a detailed review, but a video which shows you some few features of the View Smart TV, or to be specific, to do with any kind of a Google TV or Android TV device. So without wasting further time, let's get started. So I've connected the TV, and you can also have a look at the wall mount, how it looks. So all connectivity cables are from the left. So let's look how the wall mounting is done. So we have come to the left side of the TV, and the wall mounting bracket is pretty good quality. So I don't recommend that you use any other foldable bracket which might be suggested by the installation technician, because access to all the cables and the back controls is pretty easy. So here you have the RF input, followed by HDMI 1, HDMI 2, and then you have HDMI 3 over here, two USB ports, followed by the headphone jack, and then you have the optic LAN port and the optical output. You also have the component in over here, which is interesting for you to connect any legacy gaming consoles which do not have HDMI input in it. So everything is from the left, and it provides sufficient space, as I said. So at least I would say some 8 to 10 centimeter space. You can easily access the back panel, clean it, cover it, so you can continue with the existing wall mount that's provided. And the only change that has happened is, if you see that there are spacers over here along with the screws connected. So the original metal piece, which I'll just show it to you. So these are the original mounting screws that's provided. So it's supposed to be drilled, inserted into the wall, hammered and connected. I think it's this way. Yeah, so 3 nut bolts that's provided to be connected, because you have 1, 2 and 3 screws that's connected, but the technician said that this is only helpful if you have a very sturdy wall, and since this TV is not that heavy, he connected his own screws along with a spacer provided, just to ensure that he need not screw it entirely onto the wall. And these are also the tabletop stands. So I haven't used it. So when the installation is complete, you basically are left with 3 nut bolts for the wall mount and also 2 tabletop stands. So the mounting is pretty decent, and if you just watch from here, from the top, these screws haven't been connected over here, which are stoppers, because the wall mount kit design is slightly different. These white pads through which your TV is connected to the wall mount unit just slides from the top and then goes down in a zigzag fashion, so there's no risk of slippage, and that's why the technician said that connecting the stopper screws over here as a security feature is no more required, and you can just keep the TV mounted that way. So that's to do with the wall mounting. Just another look, and I have Philips soundbar, which unfortunately doesn't support optical input, but the stereo and the component in. So I've used a stereo to component in cable to connect it to the sound card. Though this is an antenna input, since most of the cable systems in India are now digitized and it's all CAS based, conditional access system, this won't be of much use to you. Okay, the TV is now wall mounted already, so let's start looking into how the TV boots and how things work out. So to start it for the first time, you just need to click on the power button once. Just point towards the TV, click on the power button, and as soon as you just click it once, you will see the View logo as well as the Android TV logo. You will then find the typical Android booting experience that you see even on phones, and finally you will get the main screen of the TV. Just keep in mind that this is an IR, that is infrared, come a Bluetooth remote. I'll share you further details of it further, proceeding further. And you have the hotkeys of Netflix, YouTube, Google Play, Prime Video, Hotstar, and the typical volume up and down controls, and also the channel up, channel down button, the Android buttons of back, home, with then RGYB, that is in any kind of other TV remotes you may typically find that the RGYB dedicated keys, but this is not a full-size keyboard. Though I like the TV and the rest of the features, but I would have loved to see a full-size keyboard along with the numbers. Nevertheless, this is a good TV. Before I demonstrate further, now you may be pretty surprised that I just started the TV and you see Kodi in it. So before I get into further details of the other features of the TV, I will show you, because in Kodi I am able to use the bought allen.com add-ons of Disney Plus, Hotstar and JioTV. So I'm able to JioTV, Disney Plus, Hotstar, I have a subscription, and JioTV, I do have multiple Jio SIM cards, so I get that complimentary. So I have now got rid of my DTH connection due to this. So I will just exit, and why Kodi started initially was not because I made any changes to the default launcher, but I have installed an app which helps you in auto starting any app that you want. So this is the typical UI of the TV. This UI is very similar to the Fire TV Stick, the Amazon Fire TV Stick experience. So you have home, discover and apps. Let's go to the app section. So from the Google Play Store, I have installed an app called Auto Start. I will just start that. So graphically it might not look that interesting. Okay, I see an error. So here all the apps that's installed on my TV are listed, and there's a checkbox just next to it which helps you in configuring which app needs to be auto started. So since I always watch live TV channels and recorded shows using Kodi, so I just go to that option of Kodi and this gets checked. Once you have the Kodi option checked over here, you can just exit this. So I select using the right arrows, I select yes. So every time I start, I get Kodi working over here. Now coming back to the Google TV UI, as I said, it's very similar to the Fire TV experience, which I have a couple of them at home. So after you have apps over here, then you have inputs and the Wi-Fi connection, settings, and the time. Now inputs, as the name suggests, helps you in selecting which input you want to use. The default is the Android one, and from any input to the main screen you can switch over just by pressing the home button on the remote. So this is the home button just below the down button over here. And remember that this TV has HDMI ARC support, which is a very smart feature. So as I said, I have a Raspberry Pi with me over here, and it's currently powered off. You can either select the input by clicking on the inputs button over here, or you can also press the input button here, select it. And the third one is, if since HDMI ARC support is provided in this TV, let's power on the Raspberry Pi. Again, you might have watched my earlier video about how you can use your Raspberry Pi along with Kodi, that is to watch JioTV and Disney Plus Hotstar, but this is just to demonstrate the HDMI ARC support. So I have now powered on my Raspberry Pi. I haven't yet pressed any button, so let's just wait for a few seconds and see is there any change that happens to the screen. There you go. You see that when I click on the input button, the input has automatically changed to HDMI 1, which is a Raspberry Pi, but now the PVR and the EPG has synced, and you can see all the channel names, the times, everything listed. And when I press the up, down, right, left button, it works. So don't get surprised, this is my TV remote. I haven't used any other mouse, keyboard, or any other Bluetooth remote, but because the HDMI ARC is supported, the same TV remote can also be used with Raspberry Pi. Since this is already a smart TV and I already have Kodi installed in it, I don't need to use the Kodi on Raspberry Pi, but this is just to demonstrate how the HDMI ARC support works. So let me now power off. Power off the system. Okay, so the Raspberry Pi is shutting down, and very soon you will see a note of weak or no signal, so which indicates that it's shut down. So I press the input key once again, and you will see channels. Now this channels option, when I click on it, it is to do a channel scan. So what do you think about the channel scan? It's not from the set-top box, but rather from the RF input that I showed you in the mounting description in the beginning of the video. So since we have encrypted channels through the conditional access system, so this channel scan will not result in anything. I'll still show you. So I just click a start. You will see that there is a progress of 3%, but there are no channels that have been detected. So rather than wasting time, let me stop this scan and I cancel it, and I come back to the home screen by pressing the home button. So I'm back at the home screen right now. As I said, this is an infrared come a Bluetooth remote. So I have tested all of them, and I found that all these buttons are also infrared buttons. So there is an LED over here which indicates that every time you press a button, it glows. So if I bring it close, so you'll see that there is a red light that's blinking. So when the red light blinks, it essentially means that it is working in infrared mode. And the only time when the Bluetooth mode works is when you press the Google Assistant button. So when you press the Google Assistant button for the first time, you have a menu over here, message saying hold the menu button to pair the Bluetooth remote first. So though this was paired in the initially, I have unpaired it just to show you how this needs to be done. So these 3 lines which you see over here, this is the menu button. So just keep it pressed for a few seconds. Yes, you get a message, Bluetooth remote connecting and then paired successfully. So now this remote is a Bluetooth remote. What are the advantages? So there is no problem with line of sight. Basically, I can just point towards any direction, and within the range of Bluetooth, which is about 8 to 10 meters, my remote still functions and I need not point towards the infrared receiver over here. What are the disadvantages? The disadvantages, as you know, Bluetooth is a radio-based technology, so it consumes power. I know that this is Bluetooth 5, which is much smarter, consumes less power, but this Bluetooth remote is only useful if you have to use the Google Assistant button to find some videos, say from some apps, or search for some content. So this indicator light is also the mic input, and this mic will only work when you have paired it as a Bluetooth remote. So if you are using as an infrared remote, which is by default, but once the pairing is done and every time you use the TV, it continues to work as an infrared remote. Temporarily I had actually unpaired the Bluetooth remote owing to the fact that my battery was draining out. But also the advantage is, if you are connected to Bluetooth, you get to know the battery leftover, what percentage of battery is there and when it needs to be changed. Now I'll show you how the Bluetooth works. What's the time right now? Okay, so I just press it once, and as soon as you get the Google Assistant listening bar over here, you can just issue the command, issue the search, whatever you want to get that done. Now that was to do with the Bluetooth feature. Now how do you actually get disconnect from Bluetooth? Go to settings, remotes and accessories. So you have the smart TV remote connected. I just select that, click on OK, and you can see the battery is 30% now, and I just say unpair. So it just asks for another reconfirmation to unpair. Just click on OK. So this is now unpaired. So the pairing and unpairing is, especially the pairing is very easy. You need not go to this option to add the accessory. Even without that, it works perfectly fine. Now, initially you remember I said that this is the same make as the HiSense 4K TV. So if you go to settings, go to device preferences and say about. So you see the device name as Smart TV, which I have set. You can go to the device name, click it, and now whatever I have set it, you can change this based on your preferences. So it says rename this HiSmart TV A4, which is probably the HiSense TV model. This HiSense HiSmart TV A4 is currently named as Smart TV, which I had kept it. So you can change it, and currently I will just check, select don't change, and it's all fine with that. Rest, there are many features vary because this is again an Android system. So here you can go to the status option and check on the serial numbers, the network status, so you can find out the Bluetooth MAC address, the Wi-Fi MAC address. So if you are using a Wi-Fi router with MAC filter in it, you first need to find out the MAC address from here before you can actually configure it on your router. So the model you can see here, HiSmart TV A4, again an indication that it is using the same model as that of a HiSense TV. The Android version is 9. This is probably the only disappointing thing I have about this TV, because I think most of the new TVs come with Android version 11. So I need to check how soon View is going to release the new feature of Android 11. Now, I'm not able to show you very closely, but this bottom bezel is gray in color, which is probably the indication that this is a 2021 model. So I have bought this around the Christmas time, and the packaging said that it's manufactured in October 2021. So overall, the 2020 and the 2021 model is almost identical, except that I found that the power of the inbuilt speakers is 24 watt in the 2020 model, and here it's 30 watt. The rest, I think most of them is fine, but in any case, the wattage of the speakers do not make any decision making changes for me, because I am using the Philips soundbar in the headphone socket to be used for audio output purposes. That was the about section. Then one of the interesting things you have is Chromecast built-in. So this is a feature which is quite advertised many times, because this is an Android Smart TV, and the name which you give to this device, like I have named Smart TV, so it is like a Chromecast with the name Smart TV. So anytime I want to play any videos, but I need to just give a command to Google to play it on the Smart TV. So let's see. Hey Google, play videos from Vardhan Lahiri's channel on the Smart TV.
Should I still play that on Smart TV?
Yes.
Sure. Playing Budhayan Lahiri's channel on the Smart TV, videos from YouTube on Smart TV.
So I found that the volume in YouTube is pretty low when it starts. It always starts around 510. So to hear properly on the soundbar, on the set-top box, so I have increased the volume to around 50 plus model. Let me pause this video, and now to change the audio and the video settings, the picture settings on this TV, you need to click on the menu button, the 3 parallel lines. So when I click on that, so you have this menu with picture, sound, audio only, sleep timer and help. If you go to picture, you have the options of backlight, the picture mode, contrast, brightness, color, tint, sharpness, and the aspect ratio by default is grayed out, that's 16:9. Now when I open picture mode, by default it's set to dynamic. You also have the standard, natural, cricket, cinema and calibrated. So the gain option is disabled because I'm not using it for gaming. And the calibrated option is more to do with the custom option. Rest of them are preset. Since I have around 7 feet distance between this TV and my sofa, so I prefer using the cinema option, which gives you good amount of color, contrast, and I should say it's the best setting, at least for my home. From your home experience perspective, you can try out, but definitely give this cinema a try if you don't want some very ultra sharp pictures disturbing you, because when you make a switch over from a 32-inch to a 43-inch TV, and if you don't have a large living room, you're watching the TV from a distance of say 7 to 8 foot or so, it makes sense to start with a setting which helps you in some pleasing viewing experience. So I've set it to cinema. Similarly, from the backlight perspective, my living room is facing the road, and there's a lot of light coming from outside, but I find that enabling the dynamic backlight control is not something that works very well for me. So I've turned it off and I've set the backlight level to 50%. So two settings for the picture: backlight at 50% and the picture mode as cinema. Now coming to sound. So when I go into sound, I have enabled system sounds. So basically it's to do with any sounds, the clicks and system default sounds. The sound mode is set to theater, but again that's grayed out. And you also see that under the speaker options there are various options like True Bass HDX, True Sound X, Dialogue Clarity, True Volume HD, Wall Mount Setup. So this is all grayed out. It is only due to the fact that I'm using the soundbar as the audio output device. So if I go to advanced settings, you will find that there is one option over here, headphone mode. So it's headphone only or headphone with speakers. So if you keep headphone only mode, then you don't have much options to configure with regards to the sound. You can probably just configure the auto volume toggle on and off for the auto volume control, and also balance of the speakers, the left and the right speakers. But if you set it for headphones with speakers, so then both the sound from the soundbar as well as the TV is used. In that case, you have an option to toggle all these switches which I just spoke about. So even in the speaker section, you have various speaker options like TV speaker, which is enabled right now because I don't have any kind of ARC or Bluetooth speaker that's connected. This combined audio output of headphone with speakers is useful if you are looking at a complete home theater experience kind of setup, but overall with a good soundbar, I think it should be good enough for you. So from my perspective, I will disable that because I found that there's one challenge if you're using a soundbar along with the TV speakers, is you cannot use the mute button on your remote conveniently with both the systems. When you mute it, the audio from your TV speakers gets muted, but that doesn't happen with your soundbar. So I will once again go into the advanced settings section, and I will just change the headphone mode to headphone only mode. So now we have, you can explore other audio options too, not something noteworthy that I need to mention all of these. So I will exit the YouTube app, and before I go and show you how I can use external keyboard and mouse over here, I will show another feature over here about how you can actually turn on the TV, trigger what you call the wake up on Wi-Fi or wake up on cast. I think that option can be configured from the settings, as far as I remember the last time we did. So within settings, yes, so in settings, when I go to network and internet, you have the Wi-Fi SSIDs over there, and there is one called wake on wireless network, and the other one is wake on LAN, and the third one is wake on cast. So these features will essentially work. Specifically, the wake on cast will only work when you have just switched off the screen. So there are multiple ways you can actually turn off the TV. What I typically do is I boot the entire system in the morning and keep it on from the Google Android TV operating system perspective. But just to turn off the screen, you just need to press the power button once, similar to how you do it on your phone. Just press it once and the screen is turned off. Since I'm using the infrared feature right now, I actually need to point it towards the infrared receiver over there. But if you are using it as a combined IR and Bluetooth remote, then anywhere within a distance of 8 to 10 meters, you can click any of these buttons and it will work perfectly with the TV. So now the screen is off. I'll just show you. I have not turned it off completely. It's just the screen off, just like your phone screen going off. To power off the TV completely, which I do at the end of my day, just before I go to bed. So you just need to keep the power button pressed for a longer time, say 3 seconds, similar to how you do it on any Android phone, and you get two options: power off and restart. So you can select any of these two options. So the restart option is generally only required if any of your applications, or you say the system has hung up, or the TV itself has updated some kind of services, only then. And just mind you, for the first time when you have set up the TV, the Chromecast option, the casting of videos from my phone to the TV did not work perfectly. Then after doing some Google search, I found that you have to update the Chromecast receiver. So let me just head over to Google Play Store. So in the Play Store, I just need to search. So I've actually connected the wireless receiver for the keyboard mouse combo in one of the USB ports over here. It's the small receiver that you have. So now the mouse works fine. So essentially, I am able to demonstrate to you that this is just like your computer, and you have the keyboard and mouse working perfectly with it. So I go to the search option. Somehow doesn't seem to work over here. So I just go to search, and if I give a search of Chromecast receiver, So okay, you can either search Chromecast receiver, or you can actually search Chromecast built-in. So Chromecast built-in is the service which needs to be updated. So in case the casting from any of your Android or say iOS apps is not working, don't get worried. It is to do with this Chromecast built-in app not updated properly. So now it shows me uninstalled, but for the first time when you search it, you can actually update it. So here I could essentially demonstrate to you how easily the keyboard and mouse works. Not just the wireless ones, even any kind of wired devices will work perfectly fine. Now since wake up on cast is enabled, I can also show how seamlessly that feature works. So now I just turn off the screen. I pressed it for a longer time. So just press the power button once, turn off the screen, and on my Google Home Mini speakers, I just give a command. So I have this Oakter IR Smart device where I have configured, recorded my remote. This is a learning remote, so I have configured it as a living TV, and as a Chromecast device, I have named this as Smart TV. So I have two options. So using the Oakter, I can give a command like, "Hey Google, turn on the living TV."
Got it. Turning on the living TV.
There's a small LED over here which blinks, and the command sent to the infrared receiver over here, and the TV got turned on. Now there is the other option. I think that is probably the wake up on the LAN feature which works. So I give a command. The name of the device, as I said, is Smart TV, and Living TV is the name of the device through the Oakter smart remote. So I say, "Hey Google, turn on the Smart TV."
Alright, turning the Smart TV on.
So the second way through which I turned on does not require any kind of an IR remote device. It is a straightforward integration from Google with another Google device, which is working perfectly fine. So you've seen the wake up on LAN feature through which I just said turn on the Smart TV, and it worked. I will also show you wake on cast. So I have another phone, and I just click on the cast option, select Smart TV. So you can see the TV which was turned off turned on, and the video has started playing. So if your TV is not completely turned off, just the screen is turned off, and you cast from any device from your local wireless network, the TV gets automatically turned on. Now I think I've covered most of the features with regards to this TV. Last but not the least, let me show you how well there is a bit of integration of the remote on Kodi, which I have covered briefly in my previous video about using the Raspberry Pi with Kodi with a remote that is detected. Since this remote works perfectly with this Google TV, let me power on Kodi. So Kodi is on. It was running in the background, so I didn't exit completely, and as I said earlier, that it has 2 gigabits of RAM, so applications load quite fast, provided you're not running too many applications in the background. Now within Kodi, I will first mute the TV so that there's no copyright violation. And few interesting things I just wanted to show. So I have a few TV series from Disney Plus Hotstar configured over here, and one of the serials is listed over here. And if you have watched any of these from Kodi rather than watching directly from Disney Plus Hotstar, since you are essentially watching from the same server, these TV shows actually get listed in the home screen. So let me go to the home screen, and here you have the play next section. So while I watch this episode from Kodi, it still gets listed under play next, and it shows that it is partially viewed, and I have the option to resume watching it. Now the other thing to do with Kodi is to do with the live TV channels. So if I open any of the recently played live TV channels, let this load. So from any of these live TV channels, since this remote works perfectly with the TV, it's made for this TV, and the Kodi is not installed as an application from an unknown source. It is there in the Google Play Store. So I can just use the channel up, channel down button, and switch over channels, which is very easy from my perspective. And you also get to see the video quality and other settings over here. One of the things that I would suggest that you set over here for any kind of channels or audios is go to the audio options. So going to the audio settings in Kodi, you might be aware of it. Just click on the center button and scroll to the gear icon over here, the settings. So in settings, go to audio settings, and here I have set a 5 dB volume amplification. This is just to ensure that your audio level across multiple applications in this TV, like Kodi, Disney Plus Hotstar, or any other applications that's there on the TV, is in sync, and you need not fiddle around with the remote every time you switch over the application with the amount of sound that's coming out. The other thing which I also wanted to show is, which is the only disappointing thing about this TV, is this is not a full-fledged remote. It doesn't have the numeric keys in it. However, there is a 1 to 3 key option just besides the Google Assistant button. So when you press this, you actually get a virtual keyboard over here to select the numbers. So if within Kodi, you can either use the channel up, channel down button to switch over the channels, or you can create favorites as well for the channels. But if you want to have the typical set-top box experience, just like your regular cable set-top box or the DTH set-top box, and if you remember the channel numbers over here, just press 1 to 3, and you can just select the numbers, and I press 2, 3, 4, and the channel got switched pretty fast. But for this, you only need to be a little bit careful that any numbers which are far apart, so say you have a channel number saying 109, so 1 is over here, 0 is over here, 9 is over here. So there's a time limit within which you need to enter these channel numbers, and if you do that quickly, only then it works. So I generally don't use that feature. I generally use the channel up, channel down feature, or the favorites option. So this is this remote works perfectly with Kodi, and with the auto start application which I showed you earlier, you can actually ensure that Kodi boots up automatically when the TV starts. So, but you'll just have to wait that it takes probably some 5 seconds or so. So after Android starts, the Android TV starts, it will say take around 5 or 10 seconds before the Kodi application gets loaded. So Kodi works perfectly, the Play Next has a good integration with Kodi indirectly, I would not say directly. So that's it to do with some essential features relating to this TV. Hope you have found this video interesting, and if you have any comments, suggestions or any challenges operating say Android TV or this View TV, any other technical questions that relate to the, you can send your write down your comments in the comment sections below. So with this we come to the end of this video, and to completely shut down this TV, as I just said, rather than pressing the power button once, I just keep it pressed for some 3 seconds and select power off. So that's turned off. Okay, thanks for watching this video and have a great time ahead. Bye bye.